Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. It is Victoria Scott. I'm here with Ida. If you guys do not follow Ida, please be sure to follow her channel. I'll link it down below. Today is January 1st, 2025. We are recording our first YouTube of the year together.
Yay!
We've got some friends here too. Come on. Come on.
Baby.
All right, guys, so we put a question box on our respective Instagram channels asking you guys what kind of questions you had around fitness, nutrition, lifestyle, all the things. And if you guys have followed my channel for a while, you've seen me do these with a few other people. And we got some really great questions today, so I'm excited to share these with you. These are going to be our unfiltered thoughts. And
Yeah, you ready?
Oh, look at Jackson, so ready. Look at him.
He's so cute. Best buddies. Yes.
He's so happy to be on camera.
Yeah. He's very. Is he smiling right now? Oh, always smiling.
Yeah.
Yes.
Tip number one: stress relief for 2025. Get yourself a dog.
Super nice.
Pet all the dogs.
Yeah.
All right, here we go. Question number one. This is my favorite question. We'll start with an easy one. Can you crush a watermelon with your thighs?
I would not know the answer to that. Tapping out. Could you?
I'm gonna go with probably.
Yeah.
That was my first thought when I saw this question.
Yeah. So
I
guess.
heard you're gonna try it when you.
Probably. Let's keep to probably. Yeah.
All right. Okay. So let's get to maybe a more serious question. What can I do every day to trim body fat?
You can walk.
Walking.
It's such a good thing. Walking, stick to a caloric deficit, drink a lot of water, and sleep more than you think that you need to do.
Oh, I agree with that. I think the number one underutilized fat loss tool is sleep.
Yep, 100%.
Most adults struggle with sleep. If you are a woman who is 30s, for sure 40s, 50s, I guarantee you sleep is like the gold ticket
Yes,
to fat loss.
absolutely.
And a caloric deficit, of course. But
Yeah.
assuming in a caloric deficit, I think those are the two things I would look at for most people is quality sleep, get your steps up, start walking.
Yeah.
So many adults just sit
Yeah.
all day long.
And we wonder why we gain weight.
How many steps do you get a day?
I would say an average 15,000.
That's crazy.
Yeah. I love it. I love movement. It's my meditation. It is my awakening pill. It's like how I get focused. So I do
walk to the gym, don't you?
I walk to the gym. I do my client calls walking, setting an example, showing them like, hey, let's take a walk. So yeah, and I walk to the grocery store. I walk back, farmer's walk.
Oh my gosh.
So yeah, no, like I'm keeping active.
That's why you have abs.
Question for you then. Let's go into abs, guys, because one of the question is, who has better six pack? Ooh.
Depends what time of year it is.
And definition thing, actually, is it a 6 or an 8 or a 10?
Okay, so whether or not you can even achieve a six-pack has to do with your anatomy.
Yeah.
So some people will have a 4-pack, some people will have a 6-pack, 8-pack, and it's just the way that your fascial tissue lies across the abdominal muscles. So that's the first thing you need to be aware of. Not everybody can even achieve a 6-pack, and other people can be overachievers, apparently.
So the question to me, from me to you, is how many do you have?
I think I technically have 5.
See? And I think I have 8 or even 10.
You have a long ab wall.
Exactly. I have a very tall torso. Yeah. So even though I'm really short, every time I'm sitting beside someone, I look tall.
Yeah. Because
I have a tall torso.
Yeah.
So I have a lot of abs. Yeah. So I wouldn't even consider myself a person with a 6-pack. So I would say that you win.
And the other thing of achieving abs has to do with low body fat percentage.
Yeah.
So either lower body fat percentage or actually building your ab muscles through weighted exercises. And I think a lot of women forget that piece. They think, oh, I just need to do planks or something. And typically that's not going to give you, planks won't really achieve the look of abs. You have to actually build thickness to the tissue and then get lean enough. And then anatomy decides the rest.
And also one more thing about abs. Like even people with, it's not always depending on body fat percentage either. It can actually be about where you genetically store your body fat.
Yeah, that's a good point.
I can even be 10% up from where I am now and I still have a 6-pack because I do not store my body fat primarily on my midsection.
Yeah.
I store it on arms and my legs. Everyone is different. So even that is to take it into consideration as well. So this whole thing with a six pack or not, it's so individual. It's like your fingerprint. So.
Yeah, I feel like it's probably one of the most misunderstood and like not talked about a lot of all these different considerations of what it takes to get abs and what that looks like for the individual person.
Yeah.
So I actually don't hold a lot of body fat there either. I get watery if I
me too.
eat too much sugar, or if I have a high sodium meal, I get watery there. But most of my body fat stores in my thighs.
Yeah, my arms and my thighs hold the most.
Every girl has a trouble spot.
Yeah,
I guarantee you.
Yeah. So actually, when we're talking about that, let's jump into a very relevant question for this time of the year. We have a really good one here. Do you feel bad after eating other foods, like, for example, the holidays? Because I do feel bad.
No, I don't.
I don't either. I stopped feeling bad for that when I determined the fact that I'm a grown-up. I made a decision to eat that meal myself. And if I feel scared that I will feel bad about eating that, I'm not going to eat it. Then I will wait for another day where I feel more comfortable eating that.
Yeah, I think feeling bad comes down to like lack of planning.
Yeah.
And then I also think like lack of discipline throughout the year. Like when you know that you're on point and you're following your plan all year, and then a holiday comes up or a special event comes up, you can just let it go. Like you just already know you've put all the work in. And so on that specific day, like I don't worry about it, because one meal will never destroy your progress.
Yeah.
And one meal also won't give you a six pack,
Yeah.
right? It has to do what you do collectively over several months and years. Like we've both been at this for so long.
Yeah.
Right? So I describe it like putting deposits into a bank account. You know, if you keep putting deposits in, you can withdraw a little bit from time to time.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of people, their fitness bank account is empty and they want to withdraw constantly, and they never put enough in during the year to then kind of merit the withdrawals later. So that's why you see someone who's like yourself, who've been doing this for 10 years plus, that you can have a little bit more flexibility and it doesn't really affect you a whole lot.
And I also think that people have a little bit of a misconception of the terms sticking to the plan. In my opinion, think that if they're not 110% correct to the plan, they are messing up. And that's where the guilt starts. So most people, if they have an idea, maybe they are following a plan made by a coach, and they change from potato to rice, and they even do the calculation, but that starts the idea of I have already screwed up, so now I can start to have that cookie as well. And then they really get down to the rabbit hole, and they have this idea that I have already messed up, so I can keep doing so. And that's when the guilt from that planned treat meal will feel even more bad, because you have already screwed yourself up a few times that week. So, but being continuously focused on making the best decisions for you, for your body, for your fuel, your energy levels, just do that, stick to that, and understand that being 100% according to your plan is pretty much only something that high-end competitors are.
Yeah.
For normal people, if we can be 90% correct or 95, that is still good. And that is what we mean, like, it's like a bank deposit. Like you can withdraw a few things here and there. Yeah.
Do you like men without abs?
Yeah. Yeah. It's not in the abs. I can tell you that it's not in the abs. How about you?
I say every man has abs, just some have an extra layer of love over top.
Yeah. I would say, again, body fat percentage doesn't really make a person better or worse. It's all in the person itself.
Yeah. It's all about personality.
Yeah, definitely. Yep.
How long did it take you to build your physique?
Okay, so I started lifting when I was 13. I am now turning 35, but I intentionally did not form this physique until I was 18, 19. But I did like create my foundation when I was starting at the gym 13, 14.
What made you start?
We were renovating our house, and I was helping my dad doing the heavy lifting, and I realized I was quite strong for being a 13-year-old girl. And then I had a neighbor, he's a trucker, so he had all those fun things like wheels, he had timber, and he had all like the fun stuff and a lot of stones, so I could be there playing around doing like strongman stuff because I was so interested in the strongman thing. I love that. That's how I started. And then I got super nerdy when it came to like bodies. I loved looking at bodies, and I loved muscles. I thought it was like so cool that you as a human being can build a physique. And and I just got hooked. I still remember my first deadlift.
Yeah. I think it's funny that you say that because I realized that at a young age, I appreciated like muscles and like a human body is more of an art form.
Yeah.
Like I was always an artsy like child.
Oh, you were?
Yeah.
Me too.
We have a lot in common.
I think so. We just realized we were both Taurus too.
Both Taurus. I just appreciated like the human body is like a sculpture. So I love that aspect of it. And I think when you talk to a lot of people who are really serious into like the physique sport, they have a similar perspective on it.
Yeah, and like the reason why I can even sit for hours watching bodybuilding on a show, because it's not, my attention span is quite short and I need to do things, but I can get so drawn in because I see the lines. It's art, it is an art form for me. So it's not just like, oh, this looks good. It's literally like watching dance or listening to poetry or reading a book. For me, this is like, it's art. And it's kind of cool to be able to do that.
I agree.
Yeah.
Do you train every day?
No, but I always stay active. So if I don't necessarily lift, I absolutely do like 1 or 2 intense power walks or a jog.
Do you recommend like clients training daily or doing something daily?
Do something daily because we're human beings, we're supposed to move, but necessarily lift weights heavy, no. Because that depends on your age, your sex, your everyday life kind of thing, but no. But be active.
You're a very active person.
Yeah, but I also I love the biology of a human being too. And we are not meant to sit down. Literally, the most injury people are walking around with are injuries based on too sedentary lifestyle. It's not to be an active person. We got a question saying, how do you maintain your fitness and lifestyle?
I think it's establishing routines. I think maintaining your physique has to do with just things that go on autopilot. So I have the same morning routine. I have the same, and it's not like a long routine. It's not like this 2-hour ordeal. It's usually like a 15-minute thing in terms of drinking my water, taking my supplements. You know, if I have a walk in the morning time, that's another routine that I have, is like taking a 20-minute walk in the morning. So I think maintaining your physique has to do with whatever you do long term.
Yeah.
So if you are able to keep with a similar routine, and when I say that, this is all for the New Year's resolution people out there.
Yeah.
Make your weekend just like your week.
Yeah.
I think a lot of people, they have their Monday through Friday because they have their normal workflow, and then the weekend comes and that goes out the window. And it's just because they don't have structure in their day. So the more that you can make your weekends look like your week, the better success you'll have with keeping your results. Welcome back. Welcome back to the show.
Oh, hi there. Welcome back. We like having you here. Yeah. So when it comes to just like maintaining the routines and stuff, but how would you say that you can stay motivated and keep that motivation high and get
I'm not motivated all the time. I'm rarely motivated, to be honest. It has to do with I'm on autopilot.
Yeah.
So the things that I just do and I just check it off, and I say to myself, I cannot feel like doing it and still do it anyway.
Yes. So that is when people just need to simply establish a routine, get disciplined enough to understand that, okay, this is what I have to do continuously in order to get to my result. What I found a lot in my clients is that they believe that this is just a one-off kind of thing and it will get them to their goal. But unfortunately, that might be the case, but then they will pretty much fall back off into what they already were doing, because you have to understand this is a lifestyle. To have a physique like this is like years and years on consistently working and taking time off when needed to recover yourself, to eat right. And it's not, at our level, we don't feel like this is any different from anyone else's life.
Right.
We don't feel like we're...
Like everybody does this.
Yeah, like for us, this is like, what? Are you not thinking about drinking water? Are you not thinking about getting your sleep? Are you not it's not about motivation. Because if you are walking around thinking that this is a motivation thing, I think someone has fooled you into believing that, because it's not about motivation. Can motivation spark an extra level at one point? Yeah, but you have to create that foundation first and get your discipline in check.
Yeah. I think it's all about what do you want for your future.
Yeah.
And you can't think of right now I don't feel like doing this, but if you don't do this thing today and you don't do it tomorrow and you don't do the next day, there's always going to be a reason to skip it, basically.
Yeah, I mean if people are into landscaping, let's say this, because this is a really good translation, because if you plant a seed today, you will not reap the fruit of that wonderful tree until years to come. So what you're doing right now, and you feel like this is not where I want to be, then you have to understand that it will take you a little bit of time, but don't let that discourage you, because this is where I feel a lot of people fall off, because they feel like, oh, it's going to take me forever to get to that shape. That's not the case. But what you will win along the way, though, is you will feel better. You will have more energy. You will have more output to give to the world, and you will start to receive more back.
Yeah. I think as a beginner, to look at it like you're curious and you're exploring the possibilities of what you can do, and less about like, I need to have this thing right now. It's more about what can I achieve, and just being genuinely curious about the process and exploring what your body's able to do. I feel like that's kind of how I started. I don't think that's why I struggled so much in my earlier days, because I was just really curious.
Yeah.
Like I was so intrigued by the process and what I was capable of doing, and every single week starting to see like little changes or having these aha moments, and that's what made me want to keep going.
Yeah, because that is something that I do talk a lot about, is like you have to kind of multiplying the amount of times you're successful with something. That is why when people come and they say, I want to gain 5 pounds of muscle, or I want to gain 15, or I want to lose 50 pounds, then I say, let's start by minimizing those goals. Keep that as your main target along the way, but you have to reinforce yourself with these small, achievable goals almost every week, especially in the beginning. And then understand that different levels of goals will help you actually kind of transcend into what you want to become. So,
what are your goals right now?
So I'm actually in this phase of a really long-term goal, because my physique is built upon wanting to compete in a specific category. Now I am 7 years from my last show. I'm no longer in the mindset of competing again. So now I just want to keep on building every single piece to where I visualize my body to be in 5 to 10 years from now. So I want to keep on carving my board. And this sounds very strange for a lot of people, but again, I see this as an art form. That's why also I'm not stressed. Do I want to drop down a few pounds of body fat right now? Yeah, maybe, because I did change the trajectory of last year. I started last year really good and ended actually in October looking exactly the way I wanted to end it this year. 2024, that is, and kind of went off a little bit and enjoyed myself a little for a month. And now I'm kind of getting ready again to like, okay, let's do it.
Yeah, ramp back up for another goal.
Yeah, well, no, just continue on the goal that I had. Or like, I'm more excited. I needed to have a little bit of a maintenance phase.
Yeah. I feel like I went through the same thing this year. This is my first year in 4 years taking a maintenance year, and like rediscovering that excitement for like that next thing, because you're like, is it ever going to come back? And so how would you say, like, since you have also been competing, would you say, because this is also a question, how long should you be on a deficit? So how long you should be on a deficit depends on your starting point and your ability to be compliant to a diet or to a program. This varies widely from person to person. If you're a larger body person, you have maybe a lot of body fat to go, you could be in a deficit for quite a while because you already have so much energy stored up. I've seen people go for 6 months or longer even, and they were totally fine. I think the average person can probably go for a solid 16 weeks. And I'm just throwing out like general numbers here because it really depends. When you are a competitor, that is a totally different game. Personal preference goes out the window. You do what you have to do because you're an athlete and you're doing what's required for a sport. When it's lifestyle, you need to be thinking about your lifestyle. You need to be thinking about your other responsibilities. You should anticipate that there's going to be things that come in that are stressful, that might mean you have a maintenance week during that process. You might have a vacation, you might get sick, injured, your child might be sick or injured, something like that that makes it so you cannot be compliant. So, what I do with my clients is we'll look at, okay, what is the overall target? How many weeks? We'll calculate how many weeks they need to achieve that target. And then we set that as like a first milestone goal. And then we'll go from there. And knowing that, again, say it's a 16-week or 20-week or whatever that is, know that there will likely be a time during that process where you're not going to have the perfect week.
Yeah.
Like I would say almost guaranteed you're going to have a week that is screwed up and not going to go as planned. And you just have to like chalk it up and move forward.
Yeah. Because I mean, like, I feel like most women, and also men actually, so most people, correct myself there, most people, they think that they always should be on a deficit. And my opinion is you should most often be on maintenance.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
You know, I felt like that when I started because I didn't have a plan. Because I didn't have a plan, I didn't know what I was doing, I always felt like, I think a lot of females feel this way, you always feel like you're chasing a diet. You're always chasing being in a deficit because, truth be told, I wasn't compliant. And I treated things like, oh, having this cookie, oh, that doesn't really matter. Or, oh, it's a Saturday, I'm gonna go do whatever. And I was like not really tracking a whole lot consistently, or maybe 80% of the time or whatever. And so the progress wasn't happening, and I didn't have a method of tracking progress. So it always felt like I was in a deficit constantly. And now that I look back, I'm like, man, that was exhausting.
Yeah.
It was like so exhausting. On top of being exhausting, I wasn't getting the progress that I wanted. It's like, if you're gonna be exhausted, you at least hope to have some progress.
Yeah.
So it really wasn't until I started working with a coach and I saw like the process and the guidelines and everything, and I tracked that I saw progress. And you know, zooming out, I teach the 4 stages of body composition to our clients. And with that, I show, you know, what does it look like to be in a deficit? What's a win? What does a build look like? What's a win? What does maintenance look like? What is a win in maintenance? Like, what is the framework for that so you know what to expect? And it just sort of, it takes the mystery out of the whole thing.
Yeah.
I think a lot of women feel like this whole fat loss thing is this big mystery. Like literally we're talking about concepts in outer space.
Yeah.
Because it's just out there somewhere. And I'm like, no, there's actually a real math equation to this. You can calculate to the T, and I do this with our clients, you can calculate to the T how much fat loss they should have per week and literally hit the target on the day that you say you want to hit it.
Yeah.
Building is a little bit different because building you can't guarantee, and that's for another conversation.
Yeah.
But specifically for fat loss, you can really pinpoint like these targets.
But I also think that you can probably not be in a successful deficit if you haven't had a proper maintenance.
Oh yeah.
Because if you always think that you're on a deficit and nothing happens, then you're probably not on a deficit. Yeah.
You're in like a miserable maintenance.
Yes.
Because to feel like you should be dieting, but you're not dieting, and you're not seeing change, I'm like, congratulations, you now know what maintenance looks like.
Yeah. Exactly. And maintenance is good.
It is great.
Let's freaking make maintenance the new thing.
It is great if you, like, that's your intention.
Yeah.
So you said this earlier when we were at breakfast, deciding. The key point to all of this is making a firm decision. So you decide, I'm going to be in maintenance over the holidays, or it is a vacation week, I'm going to be in maintenance. And when you know that, you know what you expect to come from that. And so when you go step on the scale on Monday, you're not shocked or disappointed because you already decided this was my goal. If you decide my goal is to lose weight over the holidays, good luck. Good for you. I've done that, but
I mean, it's still possible, yeah.
Yeah, if you decide your goal is to lose weight over the next 2-3 weeks over the holidays or whatever, you need to be on a plan and you need to do what's required to hit that target. If you're not willing to do it, then you shouldn't
even pretend,
your goal.
Yeah. So that is pretty much how we can wrap up that discussion. Make sure that your why to be on a deficit, maintenance, or surplus has a reasoning that aligns with you and what you actually visualize.
Yeah.
I think that's like, decide, make up your mind, and stick to what you're promising yourself.
What's your daily protein count? How much protein do you eat a day?
Depends on what I'm doing. Like right now, since I'm not tracking, I would say that I'm trying to aim as high as I can on the protein to get more satisfied. So like my meals are mainly based on protein. I would say that I'm somewhere in the range between 130 and 145 if I want to cut down.
Okay.
Yeah. How about you?
My meal plan, when I'm on a meal plan, is usually about 160 to 170 grams per day, in that range. This month I haven't been really tracking, so but I do have very protein focused meals. So I always prioritize protein, and like I said before, it's just like my habit is to have protein focused meals. So I would say I probably still have 140 at least a day, just not even trying.
Yeah,
And
because
I
it's
don't
not
even
hard.
have protein shakes.
Yeah.
Like I don't do protein shakes or protein bars. It's all whole foods.
Yeah. I mean, I do my Ninja Creamy ice cream, and that's 1 scoop of protein powder. But that's the only protein that I add on, really too, like consistently.
Do you still do a creamy every day?
Yeah, except now I sold it, but yeah, creamy every day, even on the cuts. Talking about the Ninja, when you get a sweet tooth, what do you usually eat? My Ninja creamy protein ice cream, every day.
So when I have a sweet tooth, again, because I am so consistent year round, when I have a sweet tooth, I just have what I want.
Yeah.
So if it's a chocolate chip cookie, I have a chocolate chip cookie, and I don't go for a diet version of it, I just eat the thing. If I am trying to track macros and be in a caloric deficit, my go-to is a rice cake with a tablespoon of almond butter, and I put sugar-free chocolate chips on top.
Smart. I can absolutely second that. So like on a daily basis, like regardless if it's a cut or not, I have rice cakes with the PB powder that I do very thick, so I can have like a layer on it. So that's like my dessert after every lunch. So that and the Ninja creamy is my sweets. And since I have that religiously, I never really crave candy and stuff like that anymore. Do I want to have it occasionally? Absolutely. And if I really want it, I'm going to have it just like you. And that has been the greatest mind shift I've ever done. And that's kind of where I feel that I'm really starting to feel balanced. Yeah. Because I don't walk around feeling like I cannot have anything. Because when you place restrictions on yourself, you want it even more. And this is kind of my first time in my life that I feel like I can have whatever I want. No one is stealing away the food, and I am not hindered to eat anything due to a single specific reason. It's food. Have it, eat it, enjoy it, but just don't blame yourself.
I think it's all about mindset.
Yep.
Is whey isolate better than egg whites for building muscle? Since whey is faster absorbing. That's a myth that needs to die in the 90s, I think. So, I want to say probably the early 2000s when a lot of these supplement companies were really growing, the marketing around it was like, why would you have whey? Well, we have a whey protein, we have a casein protein. Well, you need both, right? So the idea that they were pushing out to the public was like, whey is fast absorbing, so you should have it right after you work out. And then the casein protein is a slower absorbing because there's a little bit more carbs and fats in it. Yeah. So you need that one before bed. And so this marketing, that story sort of went around.
Yeah, it's still.
And what does that do? It makes you buy 2 products from the company, right?
Of course.
Does that help you build muscle? Absolutely not. Which is it's a really interesting question because I actually know the person asked this, and she's like mid-50s and has been in the fitness space for a while. So it's like, gosh, those myths just like linger for years. Yeah. So whey is a quick absorbing protein. However, what really matters for muscle building is number one, that you're eating enough food, so at least slightly above maintenance in order to have a caloric surplus to gain muscle tissue, that you're training progressively, so the training aspect has to be there, and that you're consuming overall adequate amount of protein for the day. Like these little nuanced things, I feel like, are what get people to buy products.
Yeah, but I'm also kind of shocked that it comes down, because I mean, this conversation is most often what I've heard around like athletes and people that's really kind of picky of what they're eating. But what's the question between egg whites?
Or whey isolate. So I consider whey isolate is also still food. People look at that as a supplement. At the same time, it's derived from food. So it is food. Yeah. It's not like a fake product or something. Egg whites or whey isolate, really what it comes down to is nutrient timing. If you want to like that 5 or 10% to optimize, you want to make sure that you have a good high protein, decent amount of carbohydrate meal post workout. To help with that recovery process and give your body the nutrients it needs. But overall for the day, having enough food and protein
will still do the best result for that.
Right. But yeah, it's such an interesting question. We could probably do an entire Q&A on myths.
Yeah.
Because that is one of those things, like I said, I think, first of all, I don't even consume whey isolate myself. I just said that, like, I don't even really do protein shakes anymore. I prefer whole foods. So protein is protein at the end of the day. I do believe that, well, this isn't my opinion, actually, this is science. Animal protein sources are superior to for muscle building. There's a marginal impact, and then also there is actually no research on this. This is just probably a bodybuilding thing that I've just seen over the years. When you have animal protein, you'll see people, especially if they have red meats, have denser muscle tissue. Yeah. Far better than having like the trace amount of protein that is in like your oatmeal. It's a totally different amino acid profile. So I do think that animal protein is better in terms of having dense, like the look. But I don't think that people are doing research studies on like, you know, like when they're doing studies on this, they're measuring muscle thickness. Sometimes I don't know if there's actually been a study on like this person only had animal protein, blah blah blah, and this person only had vegan protein, and like did their muscle density. And there's so many factors. Like we talked about genetics, right?
Yeah.
Like your genetics are different than my genetics in
Yeah.
building muscle. So,
Yeah.
but I just think that was such an interesting question that somebody asked.
Yeah, absolutely.
What could you? We should do a myth busting.
We
one.
should. Yeah.
So, short answer: whey isolate is not better than egg whites. Eat
Take what
whatever
you prefer.
protein.
Yeah. Get the protein in and
I think convenience
Yeah.
is key. Making sure it's a protein source that you enjoy
Yeah.
eating, and that you just make sure that you have that meal post workout, and it's a good meal.
Yeah.
When you were younger, do you ever like work out and feel like, oh, I just worked out, so I can go treat myself? I think a lot of people do that.
Yeah, I think I had
Just had a hard workout.
Yeah, I think I had moments in my experience of fitness and bodybuilding that I was like, okay, now I have been eating, now I had a really good workout, so now I can go and eat. But for the past 5 to 8 years, I've been living by the fact and the reasoning that when you have been eating more, you can just utilize that energy to actually benefit more in your workouts. You eat so that you can train, not the other way around. Eating is fuel so that you can exert yourself better. Mm-hmm. So I don't feel ever nowadays like, oh, now I should really be able to eat anything because I've been working out, because no, it's impossible. If you have had a whole pizza buffet or sushi buffet, there's no way in hell that you can utilize and burn off those calories.
All right, rapid fire, final question. What's your best piece of advice for somebody starting their fitness journey this year?
Enjoy it. Embrace the process, I would say.
Yeah.
Embrace it. You don't have to be the smartest kid on the block from day one. We are still learning, and we have been in this industry over decades. So you will keep on learning. So keep learning. That's what I would say. Keep learning and listen to your body.
That's a good one.
Yeah.
I think it's a huge mistake that people make. We should do a myth and mistakes.
Yeah, we should. No, that's the greatest mistake people make.
I think the biggest advice I would give somebody starting in 2025 would be, don't feel like you need to know it all.
Yeah.
And do it yourself. I hear so many women say, oh, I feel like I should have been able to do this myself. I feel like I know what to do, or I should know what to do. And there's no badge of honor for doing it yourself. Yeah. There really isn't. I think the shortcut to your goal is getting knowledge and experience from somebody who has knowledge and experience.
Yeah.
And piggybacking off that, you will, I don't know about you and if you ever hired a coach in your day, but I achieved the best results from working with a coach for 5 months than I did for 5 years on my own.
Yeah, and I think that is also because you get a high. Are you tired? You get accountability from having someone, and you will be more open-minded to actually learn and be able to present and feel, as I said, accountable to actually the whole process. And to be new at things is okay. You're actually way cooler than people that don't even dare to try something new. Mm-hmm. So dare to try things out and don't bash yourself for being new. I mean, if I was going to play chess, I don't know how to even play chess, but if I did, I would probably suck at it for the first couple of years.
Yeah.
So you cannot expect yourself to be good at something that you have never tried before. So lower the bar and just go at it. Simply as that.
Be a student of the process.
Yeah.
And learn.
Yeah.
Be curious.
Yeah, curiosity is good. Yeah. That wraps it up, right?
I think that wraps up. That's all my questions for today.
Yeah, and I am.
We're good.
Yeah.
Thank you guys so much for your questions. If you had any valuable takeaways from this video, comment below. Let us know what your biggest takeaway was.
Yeah.
And of course, if you have any video requests that you would like us to do for next time, we are already planning our next video here shortly for 2025.
Absolutely.
Let us know what you want us to see. If it's a training video, nutrition, we could do cooking.
Yes, that would be so much fun. So
let us know what you want to see.
Mm-hmm. Yes, and also let us know if we should do that myth busting video.
Ooh, I like that one.
Yeah.
I think we should do it anyway.
Yeah. Okay, guys.
Bye, guys.
Bye.